Welcome back. I'm going to do a quick video today on finger spools and some tips and tricks that I've kind of learned along the way with them. I'm not taking credit for any of these because somebody might have thought of these beforehand, or I saw them and got ideas or combinations of that, but just some iterations of kind of the finger spool and like connections. Very basic, but maybe useful to you. So standard finger spool, we've all seen them. Line, plastic or Delrin, double ender, clips through the hole. You undo it, pulls it out, loop it, wind it back up. When you're done, hook double ender in and clip it back through. Works fine, but I never really liked this. I had issues just with these double enders when you get them stacked up and you're scooting and moving around in flow, where they just roll and like that, and it comes undone. Also, when they're back on your butt D-ring and you got a lot, especially when doubles, you could sit on them or they turn and twist, and you can really torque them and potentially crack this. So that led me to the first iteration of something like this. So same thing, no real crazy, but you can see it can move around and doesn't really have the issue about the breakage or potentially coming undone. So how this works is finger spool has your loop big enough to get your spool through it, so when you're looping it over the line. And I only use these basically the finger spools cave diving, and I'll use a larger one, like a 150 footer, sometimes with a safety sausage if I'm doing some just basic ocean diving or vacation stuff. Other than that, I usually go with spool reel. However, loop it, and then what you do is you put an overhand knot and do another loop at the end. So you might have to go a little bit bigger than normal, just kind of judge it. Then what you do is, as you're winding it up, and this is what I do when I set them up, and usually I re-spool my reels after I use them, especially if I used a long distance, just so that way they're ready for next time and no issues. Anyway, in the big loop, I clip it and have the double ender in, and then I pull it tight and put it through a hole, pull it, and then I clip the double ender, hopefully you can see that, to there. So that way now it's connected, it's dangly, they don't seem to come off as easy, like accidentally, and you don't have to worry about it twisting and breaking this. Now when you go to use it, which is nice too, especially if you are wearing gloves, or say it's really tight and it hasn't been used in a while, if you unclip just the first loop like this and then pull the double ender, you don't have to sit there and pick the line, it just comes out. But an alternative to that is, when you're putting it back underwater, is just wrap it, slide it through whatever hole to make it tight, like that, and then just clip the double ender to the little loop. And again, you still get the the wobbly, so it doesn't put torque on this and it doesn't accidentally come unclipped. You just, when you go to use it, you don't get the double ender to pull it out. But anyway, it still works. It's an option. Hopefully that was clear. I saw this, and this method came up from these little mini spools. You can see the size difference. So this has 15 feet on it. This has 70 feet on it. I really like these spools, especially when I was cave diving a lot, and you have these little gaps that you want a visual, but we don't visual. We put a permanent line in. So the holes, you can see, are very tiny, and a normal double ender barely gets through there, if at all. And I don't like the little ones, because the smaller double enders, because I just didn't like them. They weren't convenient. So that comes to this, and I think I got this idea, it was like a cold water idea as well. So anyway, back to the bigger spool so you can see it. You can see how it hangs, similar to the previous method. There's no torque or torsion on this. And when you go, what you do is it's bungeed. So you just pull your double ender, and what it is it's a bungee loop that goes around. And that's just looped, your finger spool is just looped to this bungee here. So again, when you go and you tie in your line, I'm just gonna do it real quick. The double ender will act as our guideline that we looped in, and when we get back to it to pull it off, you just pull this big loop and it separates it a lot easier. So you're not sitting there trying to, especially, if it's colder, you're in a rush or whatever, you just can't get the dexterity to pull this little line out. You have this. And then you just clip, so you wind it up just like normal. You get here, you just take your double ender, clip it to here, and then just wrap it and just slide the double ender around. And then usually where the knot goes, I just put a little torque on that, keep sliding it, and it tightens everything up. And then the double ender sits like that. So that's my new preferred method. I use it. It works in cold water with thick gloves. It's quick. It's even faster than the other method. Again, and it works for even the little reel. So the little one, you just pop your double ender off, disconnect it, clip it off to your D-ring, pull it out, loop your line in to your main line, just like that. When you come back, you can just pull this loop, easily separates it, wind it up, get your double ender that you had clipped off, just keep spinning around, and then just slide it right around, and then just give it a little bit and it tightens up. Easy, clean, and really cheap to do. So I hope that was helpful. Maybe you guys will use it. Maybe you have some other method that's even better. Feel free to leave comments and let me know. Thanks again.